Hi lovelies, Lauren here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all well. For today's class, I'm bringing you a lovely little slow flow. So we are not doing any fast movement today. There's no vinyasas in sight. We are really going to be taking our time because I think if 2020 has given us anything, that it is the gift of time. So we've been given this time, so let's really embrace it. Let's move nice and slow and yeah, enjoy it as well. Okay. So we're going to start in a nice, comfortable seated position, sitting up nice and tall, nestling those sit bones down. If you feel like you need a little bit more grounding today, you might prefer to have the palms of the hands facing down on your knees. If you feel like you'd like a little bit more energy, maybe have the palms of the hands facing up, but it's entirely up to you. But soften those shoulders down and away from those ears. Bring those eyes to a close. Let's start to settle into this space here. So as we arrive, as always, first thing, just see what you notice here, see what comes up for you. You might instantly notice some particular kind of feelings in this moment. It might be a few feelings of tension, maybe. What emotions come up for you in this moment? You might be feeling quite happy that you've made it onto your mat today. Or it might be something more minuscule. It might be something really subtle inside the body that you're just starting to notice, these little tiny sensations happening inside the body. But starting to cultivate that loving, mindful awareness of you, your whole body, allowing the mind to gradually quieten down as you leave behind anything it is that you might have been doing, anything that might be happening inside your cozy homes. Allow the body to soften slightly here. Allow the breath just start to support you. So you might start to take a few deeper breaths here, breathing in through the nose, maybe sighing out through the mouth. Just taking your time to simply arrive into this moment right here, right now. And use this time just to simply be. Quite often we spend the majority of our day focusing on the doing and that we've got to do this, we've got to do that. So for our practice today, we're really focusing less on the doing and more on the simply being. So all I ask of you from today's practice is to simply be, to simply sit with whatever perhaps arises for you throughout this practice. Allow yourselves to let go. And almost give yourselves that permission to let go as well. Know that you've already done the hardest part. You've made it to your mat, and that can be the most difficult step. So you've already made it here. Give yourself that credit for that. Now we can just be. So let's take a couple more breaths here. Taking again another big breath in through the nose. Nice big sigh out through the mouth. Maybe two more of those big conscious breaths. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Big breath in. Big breath out. Beautiful. Keeping the eyes closed here if we can. Let's start to bring a little bit of movement into the head and the neck. So you might simply opt to turn the head from side to side, sending your chin over one shoulder, gently bringing it back through center, and sending the chin to the opposite shoulder. That might be just enough movement for your head and neck today. Or you might start to bring it into some half neck circles here, or half neck rolls. So you might lower one ear down towards the shoulder, keeping both shoulders down and away here. And as you exhale, let your chin drift down towards your chest and allow the head to be really heavy here. And as we inhale, we gently come across to the other side. And again, finding that stretch in the side of the neck, really being kind to yourselves here, especially if you are experiencing some tightness, in these places. And again, we lower the chin down towards the chest and come across to the other side. So all you're doing is gently drifting the head from side to side. Can't get my words out today. Hopefully I'll be able to talk as we get further on into the practice. But yes, as I said, allowing the head to drift from side to side with ease, with your breath. Beautiful. Okay. And then from here, let's all bring the right ear down towards the right shoulder. Let's pause here for a moment. You can hold here. You might play with lifting the chin up and down, playing with where you get that deeper stretch. Or you might decide to bring your right hand to gently rest by your left ear. Use the weight of your right hand and kind of draw that right elbow down to increase that stretch down the left side of the neck. You may also want to stretch those left fingertips down towards the ground away from you to further intensify that stretch maybe. Take a big breath in. And as you exhale, let your palms to hands melt down towards your knees, and again, chin returns down towards the chest. As we inhale, let's come across the other side, and again, you may take a moment just to lift the chin gently up and down, finding all of those little tiny stretches here. And then maybe placing that left hand by your right ear this time, drawing that left elbow down, increasing that stretch, drawing your right shoulder down and maybe stretching those right fingertips down and away. Take a breath here. And as you exhale again, we allow the chin to lower down towards our chest. Let's pause here for a moment. Again, heavy head. The rest of the spine is nice and tall. And let's gently bring both hands to rest on the back of the head. You might interlace your fingertips here. Again, using the weight of your hands, allow the elbows to close in as you increase that stretch here. So you might feel your chin kind of come down closer and closer towards your chest. Take another breath in. And another breath out. Melting your hands back down towards your knees, and then we're just going to inhale, lift the head up through center and just lift the chin up towards the sky. So all we're doing is opening across the front of the throat. We're not taking this into a back bend in the upper back at all, just simply lifting the chin up towards the sky. Beautiful. Take an inhale. And as we exhale, let's bring our head back through center. Let's bring the palms of the hands in front of the heart here. Take a big breath in. Take a big breath out. And as we inhale, let's send the fingertips all the way up to the sky, growing tall here. You can separate the palms as you come all the way up. Send energy out through the fingertips here. And as you exhale, you might lower your right hand down towards the ground. Left hand sweeps up and over. So it might look like I'm doing the opposite side to you, but don't worry. Just listen to what I'm saying. Right hand down, left arm is sweeping up, and keep sending your left hip down and towards the mat here as you would extend out through those top fingertips here. Soften through the right elbow maybe. Maybe that right elbow comes all the way down towards the mat. And let's involve a couple of nice big arm circles here with this top arm. So as you inhale, you're going to spin the torso up towards the sky, roll that left shoulder back, and then sweep that left arm away from you and allow it to kind of circle out in front. And then again, we take that nice big circle. Inhale, roll that left shoulder back, sending energy out through the fingertips. Exhale, start to send that left arm away from you. One more nice big circle here. Inhale, we reach all the way up. And exhale, floating that arm away. Beautiful. Okay. Now this time, as you inhale and sweep that left arm up, let's come back up through the center. Right arm comes up next to left, we grow. And as we exhale, let's come down across to the other side. So left hand down, right arm sweeps up and over. Again, keep pinning your right hip down and towards the ground, and feel this lengthening here. And as you kind of breathe into your rib cage, as the rib cage expands, we can feel into that stretch a little bit more. Okay. Let's bring in those arm circles on the other side. Inhale, spin the torso up towards the sky. Send that right arm back behind you, and then allow it to float all the way down. Sweep it out in front and open it across the face. Inhale. Beautiful. Keep the eyes closed here if you can, so you can really tune into what's happening in the body in this movement. Find those moments of release. One more nice big circle here. Inhale, sweep the arm all the way up. Exhale, release all the way down. Okay. Inhale. Again, we sweep that right arm all the way up and then just bring ourselves back to center, growing tall here. And as we exhale, we're going to open out to a little twist. So first of all, finding our twist towards the right-hand side using our core. And then lightly floating the arms down. So your left hand is going to arrive on your right knee. Right hand comes to the ground behind you. And just take a nice big inhale as you zip up through the spine. Grow nice and tall. And as you exhale, see if you can twist that a little bit further around to the right. Maybe turning your gaze to look all the way back behind you. Final breath here. Final exhale. And as we inhale, let's start to unravel. And again, we reach the arms all the way up. We grow tall. Exhale, start to slowly find that twist round towards the other side. Using your core first of all, floating the arms down. And using your hands as kind of an anchor point to encourage that twist a little bit more. Right hand to the left knee. Left hand to the ground behind you. Inhale, zipping up through the spine. Exhale, sinking into that twist. Beautiful. And again, you can look back behind you should you wish. Final breath here. Final exhale. As we inhale, let's again reach the arms all the way up, grow tall. And as you exhale, you're going to open out across the heart, lift the heart up towards the sky as you lower the arms down. Bring your hands down be by your sides, and then you're going to draw a little circle out in front as you pour the heart forwards, coming into a little seated forward fold. So as you come into this, don't kind of think about reaching as far forwards as you can and then pulling the body forwards. Just allow the body to soften into it. So you can soften into your elbows, maybe the elbows meet the mat here. You can have a little release in the neck. You might bring back that little sway in the head from side to side. Just enjoying this nice big release for your lower spine. Beautiful. And you might feel it slightly in the hips as well here. Let's take one more big breath in. One more big breath out. Beautiful, okay. As we inhale, slowly walk the fingertips back towards you. You're going to bring your hands just back behind you, lean back into your hands just to cross the legs the other way. So you're just going to do a little switcheroo, bringing the opposite leg out in front. And then same again, let's bring the palms of the hands towards our chest. Inhale as we send the fingertips all the way up towards the sky. Feel that length grow tall. Open out the palms, open out across the heart as you release the arms all the way back down. Lift the heart up towards the sky as you go. And then again, the fingertips come down just by your sides and pour the heart forward as you come into that seated forward fold on the other side. Beautiful, well done. And again, release through the back of the neck. Softening here. So it might feel a little bit more intense with the legs crossed the other way. You might notice the legs it might feel a little bit unfamiliar perhaps. But no worries, again, we're just taking our time to arrive in all of these different postures today. Okay, let's take a big breath in. Big breath out. As we inhale, let's slowly again start to rise all the way back up. Walk your hands towards you. And then all you're going to do, use your hands to kind of help you to pull the knees up through the center and then swing the ankles around to one side and walk yourselves into a tabletop position. So you're going to find your wrists either directly underneath your shoulders, or you might have them a little bit further forwards to take any pressure off of the wrists here. Knees come underneath your hips, and we're finding this kind of neutral spine first of all, just gazing down in between the hands. And let's slowly, slowly move through our cat and cow. So really mindfully moving through this, even though it might be quite a familiar movement for us. We're going to slow it down. So as we inhale, we start to lift the tailbone. Tailbone starts to lift up towards the sky, and then we slowly think about dropping our belly button down towards our mat. And then see if you can find that moment where it starts to move towards your mid spine and your upper back. So as you start to squeeze the shoulder blades down and together, pulling the chest through as you lift up through the chest, lifting up through the gaze. Take an inhale. And as we exhale, slowly start to tuck the tailbone under. Ribs start to pull in. See if you can draw your belly button towards your spine. And again, working your way down through the spine. Notice where it comes to your mid back, your upper back, push out through the back of the shoulder blades. And then the final thing, we tuck our chin down towards our chest and gaze down towards our belly button here. Beautiful, well done. And let's just keep that going at the slow and steady pace. So as we inhale, start to lift the tailbone up towards the sky. Slowly thinking about sinking the belly button down towards your mat. And then when you're ready, squeezing the shoulder blades together, pulling the chest through as you lift up through your gaze, gazing straight ahead. Exhale, starting to tuck the tailbone under. Draw the ribs in, draw your belly button in towards your spine. Push the ground away through your fingertips and see if you can really now separate the shoulder blades as far apart as you can, separating them left to right, and the chin comes down. Beautiful, gaze towards your belly button. Let's take one more full round at this slow and steady pace. Inhale, lifting the tailbone, slow and steady. Gently bring the belly button down towards the mat. Beautiful. Inhale, squeezing those shoulder blades together, lifting up through the heart, lifting up through the chest, gazing ahead. And then as you exhale, tucking the chin down towards your chest, tucking the tailbone first, pulling the ribs in, belly button towards your spine. Reach out through the back of the shoulder blades, then we start to think about tucking the tailbone or tucking the chin towards the chest. Beautiful, well done. Okay, and then from here, start to move through your cat and cow a little bit more freely. So if you want to move a little bit more quickly, feel free to do so. But just begin to cycle through with your own breath. So inhale as you lift, exhale as you curve. But just reflect on how that real slow and steady movement felt for you. And particularly if you live quite a fast-paced life, that might felt a little bit frustrating to you to move in that really slow, mindful way. So no worries if it did. It might just mean it's something to maybe work on, bring it a little bit more into your life. Slow these things down. Okay. And let's start to build on our cat and cow now. So have one more inhale to lift up through the heart, lift up through the chest. Exhale, come through a curve and then start to send your hips back towards your heels, taking a brief little child's pose. Keep stretching the fingertips forwards. Enjoy that kind of lengthening of both sides of the body. And then as we inhale again, we lift up through the curve. Keep the tailbone tucked under, keep the chin tucked towards the chest. And then you might need to walk your hands a little bit further forwards as you slowly start to melt your hips all the way down towards your mat. Soften through the elbows and think about squeezing the shoulder blades together and pulling the heart through, pulling the chest through. Beautiful. And as we exhale again, tuck the chin down towards the chest, pull the ribs in. Belly button towards your spine, through a curve, hips back towards your heels, child's pose. Beautiful. Twice more, just this. Inhale. Lifting up through your curve, keeping the tailbone tucked, keeping the chin tucked. And then slowly sinking the hips down towards your heels. Thinking about softening through the elbows, squeezing the shoulder blades together, pulling the chest through, lifting the gaze, looking straight ahead. And then exhale, tucking the chin down towards your chest, ribs pull in. Find a little curve, lovely, gently melt it back towards your child's pose. We're going to take one more full round. Inhale, slow and steady, rising on up. Exhale, sinking down, beautiful. So you might find as we have worked through this quite slowly, you might notice that range of movements slowly start to build. Beautiful. Okay, lifting back up. Let's come back into our child's pose. We're going to pause here now, so you can separate the knees slightly off towards side, create a little bit of space for the belly to rest in between the thighs. Forehead might come down towards your mat, or you might decide to stack one fist on top of another. Use that as a platform for the forehead to rest on. Let's take a couple of breaths here. Big breath in. A big breath out. Lovely. One more breath in. And one more breath out. Okay. Inhale. Let's start to rise all the way back up. Back up into our tabletop. Nestle those knees back underneath your hips. Wrists again underneath your shoulders. Ground down through the right fingertips first of all. Let's sweep left arm all the way up towards the sky. Stacking left shoulder on top of the right. Sending those left fingertips all the way up. And then you can hold here. Or as you exhale, you might opt to wrap that lower left arm around your lower spine, pressing the back of left hand into your back body to further roll that left shoulder back. Beautiful. Let's take a full round of breath here. Keep pressing the ground away through the right hand. Exhale. Inhale. Sweep left arm all the way back up and over. Left hand starts to come down. As the left hand comes down, let's simply change over to the side. So spread down through those left fingertips. Send the right fingertips all the way up towards the sky, twisting in your torso. See if you can follow your fingertips with your gaze, if that's okay for your neck. Inhale. As you exhale, again, maybe wrapping that right arm around your lower spine, pressing the back of that right hand into your back body to roll that right shoulder back. Inhale here. Exhale. Inhale. Let's reach right arm back up and over. Bring that right hand down, but this time as this right hand comes down, let's thread the right arm underneath the left. Bring the right shoulder down towards the mat if you can. Keep the hips over your knees. Right ear comes down towards the mat. And with your left hand, you're going to bring the palms of the hands together. So I really want you to push down through your left palm into the right palm and almost think about trying to pull your right arm back. So push down through the left palm and try to slide that right arm towards you. It's a little bit confusing at first, but we're aiming to find this really nice stretch across the shoulder blades. Beautiful. Okay. So again, keep pushing down through the left palm. It might help to maybe interlace the fingertips here so you can kind of find that kind of tension there. But keep trying to aim to pull the right arm underneath you. Take a big breath in. Take a big breath out. And then let's gently release. Release the left hand underneath the left shoulder, gently push you back up. And we're just going to take that across the other side. So thread left arm underneath the right. Left shoulder comes down, left ear comes down, hips are over the knees. Right palm rests on top of the left palm. And again, you're pushing down through that right palm to roll the right shoulder back, but trying to pull your left arm back towards you at the same time. Beautiful. Lovely, well done. Two more breaths here. Inhale. Exhale. One more breath. Inhale. And exhale. Okay. And then from here, gently bring that right hand underneath the right shoulder. Push down through the right palm to unthread the left arm. Come back into your tabletop and just take another inhale to drop the belly, lift the chest. And as you exhale, tuck all 10 toes under, lift the hips up towards the sky, peel the knees away from the mat, and come into our very first downward facing dog. So as you arrive here, bring as much movement into the body as you wish. So you might be bending in one knee and then the other, pedaling out through the feet. You might be taking a nice deep sink in both knees, perhaps. Finding a little twist in the hips, maybe. Finding what feels good for you and your body here. Beautiful. Taking this as an opportunity to have a little dance on your mat. A slow and steady dance. Beautiful. So often as we come into our first downward facing dog, it might feel quite intense in the body. It might feel quite strong here. So use this kind of free movement to encourage the body to let go. Lovely, well done. Take one more breath. One more exhale. And then inhale. Look forwards towards your fingertips, bend the knees, and let's take that slow and steady walk all the way to the top of our mats. Taking as many of these little steps as you need. Arriving in your standing forward fold, feet are hip distance apart, toes are pointing forwards. And soften here. So the torso is really just hanging heavy, head is heavy, arms are heavy. You may opt to take hold of opposite elbows, have a little sway from side to side, taking a little ragdoll here. Taking a breath in and taking a breath out. Lovely, well done. Okay, from here, releasing the arms, sinking into the knees and slow and steady. Let's roll up through the spine, seeing if you can identify each moment where one vertebrae stacks on top of the other, gradually making your way all the way standing. Beautiful. So as you arrive here, just take a moment to stand up nice and tall. Notice how your weight kind of spreads between both feet. Spreading the toes down and towards the mat. Crown of the head and lifting up towards the sky. Softening those shoulders down. Beautiful. Okay. Now we're going to work on a couple of side roll downs. So we're really aiming to open up the side body here. So just take a big breath in. And as you exhale, let your right ear fall down towards your right shoulder. Again, it might look like I'm doing the opposite to you, but don't worry. Listen to what I'm saying. So right ear down to the right shoulder. And allow your head to get really, really heavy here. So slowly and slowly, we start to drip on down towards that right hand side. So right arm is really leaning down. And then you might get to this point where we get a little bit stuck, where this left shoulder needs to start to fall forward. And we're going to allow that to happen. So allow that left shoulder to fall forwards, bend in the knees here. Keep leaning towards the right. Slow, slow, slow. You might be feeling those nice big stretches here. And then as you come all the way down towards your mat, come through a standing forward fold. So your arms are just heavy here. Back of the neck is heavy. And then you come across to the other side. So you sweep around towards the left. And we roll up in the opposite direction. So we're leaning towards the left hand side. We're tucking the tailbone under. And then we can find that moment where we can start to roll that right shoulder back. Beautiful. And then we inhale. Gently come all the way back up through center. And the head is the last thing to lift. Beautiful. Let's work that in the other way now. Take an inhale. Exhale, left ear down towards the left shoulder. And again, we just drip, drip on down. Almost like you're really slowly pouring water out of a jug. And that's the kind of image we're creating with our bodies here. Remember to soften in those knees. Let that right shoulder go when it wants to. And let the arms just hang heavy. Beautiful. This is one of my favorite things to do. But very rarely do we get the time. So again, enjoy this time now. Come through your standing forward fold. Over towards the right. And then we start to roll up in the other direction. Beautiful. Okay. Roll that left shoulder back when you can. Back up to standing. Beautiful. Okay, let's soften those shoulders down and away. Have a little roll of those shoulders if you need to. Okay. Let's make our way all the way down towards our mats. Take a big breath in. Sweep the arms up. Grow tall. And as you exhale, just open out across the heart. Dive on down. Standing forward fold. Inhale, have a little halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, bring your fingertips down towards the mat. And you're going to take a nice big step back with your left leg. You may want to drop that left knee down first of all and untuck those left toes. You're going to heel toe right foot out towards side, turning the toes out, heel in. So both arms are on the inside of this right leg. And then we're going to think about sinking those hips forwards and down. Make sure your right knee stays level over the right ankle, working into our lizard pose. So from here, we're just going to have a little sway from side to side. You might find a little circular motion in the hips. Beautiful. And it's nothing really too precise. We're not kind of working that strenuously. I tell you, I can't speak today. I'm not working that strenuously here today. As I say, we're taking it nice and easy. So if it does feel too much, you might need to use a couple of blocks maybe to bring the ground up to you. If you haven't got blocks, use a couple of books maybe. So make sure it's nothing too intense for you. And if it is feeling too intense, know that you can modify. Okay. So let's take one more breath here. One more exhale. And then from here, we're going to push down through the hands to send this right leg all the way back. Keep it lifted. Just keep that right heel back behind you. Find this nice long line. Take a breath in. Breath out. Start to squeeze your right knee in towards your chest. Maybe you can tuck your chin down towards the chest. Look towards that knee. And you're going to start to open that right knee out towards the side and just start to draw some nice big circles with that right knee. Slow and steady. Keep pushing the ground away through all 10 fingertips. As you open that right knee out to the side, it's going to be very tempting to kind of collapse through this left arm. But stay strong here. Beautiful. Let's take one more circle in this direction. Big breath in as you open it out to the side. Exhale. And then from here, just reverse the direction. So opening or sending the knee back behind you. Then opening the knee out towards the side. And letting it come back in towards the chest. Twice more in this direction. Inhale. And exhale. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. We can settle that right knee down towards the left and just have a little sway in the hips from side to side. You might have felt that really activating in your left glute there. No worries. And then let's tuck all 10 toes under, lift the hips to the sky, lift the knees, downward facing dog. Take a big breath in. Take a big breath out. And then inhale, looking forwards towards your fingertips, and again take that nice and easy walk all the way to the top of your mat. Take it as long as you need, just with that simple transition. Come to your standing forward fold. Inhale, have another halfway lift, fingertips towards your shins. Exhale, you fold. Okay, let's come across onto the side, bend the knees, planting the fingertips down. This time we're going to take a giant step back with the right leg. Drop the right knee down towards the mat. Heel toe. Those left toes out towards side. Toes are pointing out, heel in. Left knee is always over that left ankle, and the arms are on the inside of the leg. Into your lizard pose. So you might find you've got a bit more space here, so you might walk the hands, walk the left toes a little bit further forwards to sink the hips forwards and down, and just bringing in a little bit of movement in here from side to side. Making sure as best as you can that you're not collapsing into the shoulder blades here. Keep pushing the ground away. So even though we're kind of focusing primarily on the hips, we're making sure the rest of the body isn't compromised here. So we're not compromising in our chest, in our spines. We're keeping everything still fairly active here. Let's hold for 2 more breaths. One more. Beautiful. And then from here, push down through the fingertips. We're going to start to send left leg all the way back. Keep it lifted if you can. Kick that left heel back behind you. Exhale, bend in the left knee. Tuck the chin down towards your chest. Look towards your left knee if you can. Find a little curve in the spine. And then inhale, open that left knee out towards side. Try not to collapse down through that right arm. And then start to draw those nice big circles. Beautiful. Exhale as you release that left knee down. Inhale as you open it back out towards the side. Beautiful. Okay. Taking one more slow and steady circle. Inhale. And exhale. And then change the direction. Inhale, send the knee back behind you. Open it out towards the side. And gently bring it down twice more. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. Okay, settle that left knee down. Next to the right, back into your tabletop again. Have a little sway of the hips from side to side, releasing any tension in that right glute now. And let's tuck all 10 toes under. And again, we're going to lift the hips all the way up to the sky, downward facing dog. Beautiful. Take a breath in here. Take a breath out. Now from here, see if we can ground down through our left foot. And let's inhale, send the right toes up to the sky, keeping the hips square first of all. And as you exhale, start to open out into the right hip, bend in that right knee. And similar to when we were in tabletop with those knee circles, lift that right knee out to the side as high as you can. But this time we're keeping it steady. Beautiful. Again, press down through all 10 fingertips. Take a breath. Take an exhale. One more inhale. Exhale, start to pull that right knee back in towards the chest. Shift the weight forward, shoulders over your wrists. Gently sink that right shin down towards the mat. Now from here, you're going to bring your left knee down towards the ground. Walk that left leg back. You might play by bringing this right ankle a little bit further forward. And then let's start to come into our pigeon pose. So before we think about folding forwards, let's see if we can walk the hands a little bit further forwards towards us. Use a couple of blocks if you need to. Sinking the hips down, lifting up through the chest. This might be enough for you. You may have that space in the body to kind of send the fingertips back behind you, lifting up even more. If it's too much, come back down, take a breath. And as we exhale, now we can think about bringing the hands out in front. Now I want you to think about leading with your belly button. So sending belly button down towards the mat, softening in the elbows as you go. Then your lower ribs. Then perhaps your chest. Then the heart comes down. And then your shoulders, and then we can release the head down. So again, you can stack one fist on top of the other, maybe, similar to when we were in child's pose. Or you might bring your forehead all the way down towards your mat. Now, just to say, if this is feeling really intense for you, it's feeling really uncomfortable, there is a half variation you can take. So I'll just demonstrate this quickly. If you're happy in pigeon pose, feel free to stay where you are. So if you do wish to modify, just come to sit on your right hip for me. And you're going to bring your right shin parallel to the top of your mat. So you've got a right angle in this right knee. Bring your left knee a little bit further forwards. So you've now got a right angle in your left knee. And this is the kind of half variation, half pigeon pose. And you can simply bring your hands out in front and you can hold there. So if this feels a little bit more comfortable for you, do feel free to take this option should you need it. As I say, if you're quite happy in your pigeon pose, stay there. Let's maybe take 3 more breaths. Take a big breath in. Take a big breath out. 2 more. Inhale. And exhale. 1 more breath. Inhale. And exhale. Okay. Slow and steady, we're going to start to rise back up. Let's push down through the fingertips, lift the chest. You're going to tuck the left toes under, lift the left knee. Simply step right foot back next to left, lift the hips nice and high, downward facing dog. Just take a moment to kind of shake off the legs, especially that right leg. It might feel good just to get a nice stretch down the back of that right leg. Take a big breath in. Take a big breath out. Let's repeat that all on the other side. So grounding down through the right foot. Inhale, send left toes up to the sky, keeping hips square. And then we open out of that left hip, bending that left knee, lifting it as high as you can. Keep pressing into all 10 fingertips. Hold for an inhale. Hold for an exhale. One more inhale. And then as you exhale, we pull that left knee back in towards into the chest. Shift the weight forward. And then gently sink that left shin down towards the mat. Drop your right knee back behind you. Walk it a little further back. Play with maybe bringing your left ankle a little bit further forwards. And then again, before we think about folding forwards, walk the hands towards you. Sinking the hips down, lifting the chest. Use blocks, use books to give you that little bit more height. And then when we are ready, maybe we can take the hands even further, lift up even higher. Beautiful. It's quite a big stretch here. Take an inhale. And then exhale. Slowly bring the hands back out in front. Lead with your belly button. Belly button comes down. Then your lower ribs. Then perhaps the middle of your chest, your breastbone. Then your heart. And your shoulders. Beautiful. Maybe release the forehead down to the mat or to the stacked fist. Beautiful. So again, feel free to stay here if you're comfortable where you are. I'll just demonstrate that half variation on this side just in case anyone needs it. So again, if this is a little bit intense for you, just gently drop onto your left hip and you're going to bring your left shin parallel to the top of your mat, right angle in the left knee. Bring your right knee a little bit further up, and so you've got a right angle in the right knee. And bring the hands out in front for your half pigeon variation. So this is always available to you. Okay. And just to say, if you are in your full pigeon pose, just make sure you're not collapsing to the right hand side. We still want to be sending left hip down towards the mat without also collapsing on the right hand side. Sorry, I've got that wrong way around. So just make sure you're not collapsing on the left hip, and make sure you're still sending the right hip down towards the mat without collapsing on the right hand side. You want to kind of find this midpoint. So I'm getting my lefts and rights all confused here, but hopefully that made sense for you. So finding that midpoint, you can have a little sway of the hips from side to side. Okay, here we go with those 3 more breaths. Big conscious breath in and a conscious breath out. 2 more, big breath in, big breath out. 1 more, big breath in and a big breath out. Lovely. Okay, from here, let's slowly start to rise. Push down through the hands, lift the chest, tuck right toes under, lift the right knee and step left foot back next to right, back into your downward facing dog. And again, just have a little pedal out through the feet here. Notice how this downward facing dog might feel a little bit stable than the first one we did of our practice today. Let's take a moment to notice. Final breath. Final exhale. And then as we inhale, we're going to lift our heels, lift our hips nice and high, and just ripple the body forwards into a plank pose. We're not staying here too long, don't worry. Inhale. And then as you exhale, feel free to drop the knees first, or you might just soften down through this nice long line coming down through your chaturanga, all the way down towards your mat. From here, allow the legs to separate slightly, toes pointing out, heels in. Let's find our Sphinx pose. So we're going to lift the chest and bring the elbows underneath our shoulders. Fingertips lightly pressing down in towards the mat here, and you're pressing your hips down. And there's a little bit of activation in our glutes here. And again, think about kind of pulling the chest through, shoulders down and away from the ears. And you can close the eyes here. You might decide to bring back those little neck twists, turning the head from side to side, or maybe bring those half neck rolls, maybe. Beautiful. Okay. Take 1 more inhale. And 1 more exhale. Lovely. Okay. From here, you're going to fold your right forearm in, so your right forearm becomes parallel to the top of your mat and the fingertips are facing your left forearm. Bend into your left knee, squeeze your left heel towards your sit bone. Keep the chest lifted and just see if you can reach around with your left arm and maybe take a hold of your left toes. If we have got this bind, we now think about sending this left shoulder down towards the mat. Keep squeezing that left heel in. See if you can maybe bend in your left elbow. Keep the chest lifted and really push your hips down and towards the mat. Hopefully finding that stretch across the front of the left thigh. Beautiful. Final breath in. Final breath out. And then from here, we can gently release of those left toes. Bring the left palm to rest on top of the right arm. Fold this left knee up towards the side of your body. Turn your gaze, look towards the left, and we're just going to release that right ear down towards the back of the hands. And just enjoying this gentle stretch here, gentle opening out in the hips. You can close the eyes again here. Allow the body to just kind of rest here, but try not to drift off completely. Two more breaths. One more breath. Okay. Let's gently start to rise back up. So we lift the gaze, lift the chest, lengthen that left leg back behind you, and start by coming back into your Sphinx first of all. So lifting the chest, elbows underneath your shoulders, and you can check the distance by tapping each bicep with the opposite fingertips, just to make sure those elbows are nicely tucked in. Press the hips down and towards the mat, pull the chest through, gazing forwards. Let's take just one breath here. Exhale. Now your left forearm folds in so it becomes parallel to the top of your mat. Bending your right knee this time, squeezing your right heel towards your sit bone. And then when you're ready, sending that right arm all the way back and around, finding those right toes. Send the right shoulder down and towards the mat, squeeze the right heel in. Bending in the elbow if we can. Keep the chest ever so slightly lifted, and again pushing your hips down towards the ground. Beautiful. Finding that stretch across the front of that right thigh. It might feel quite an intense stretch here as well. Final breath. Final exhale. Gently releasing the grip of those right toes. Bring your right hand around to rest on top of the left palm. Fold this right knee up by the right side body. Turn your gaze to look towards the right. And release left ear down towards the back of the hands. And again, we just rest here. And this is a great time to come back to that idea of just simply being. There's nothing else we need to do apart from rest in this moment. Take two more breaths. One more. And then as we inhale, we can slowly start to lift the chest, lift the gaze, looking straight ahead. Slide that right leg back behind you. And all you're going to do, bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Push the body back up through a tabletop. Take a moment to walk the knees back towards you a little bit further in front. And then swing the ankles round to one side. Bring your sit bones all the way down towards your mat. Swing the legs out in front, keeping the knees bent first of all. And all you're going to do is sit up nice and tall. Wrapping the arms around the back of the thighs, keeping this a relatively straight spine first of all, gazing straight ahead. And then as you exhale, you can bring this little curve in the spine. Tuck your chin down towards your chest and see if you can find that nice stretch across the back of your shoulder blades here. Beautiful. Just giving yourself kind of a nice warm hug here, tricking the body into think it's being hugged by another person to release all of those happy hormones. And we can take a final breath, final exhale. And with all of those happy hormones that we've just released, we can start to make our way into our Shavasana. So all we're going to do, releasing the legs and shimmying ourselves a little bit further forwards if you need to, and just come all the way down onto your backs and bring the knees in as you go. And just take a moment to arrive here. Allow your spine to feel really grounded into your mat. You might have a couple of sways from side to side, giving the spine a little massage here. You might take a couple of knee circles, maybe releasing any tension in those hips. And we've focused quite a lot on our hips today. And then for our final pose, before we really do allow ourselves to completely relax, we're just going to allow our spine to kind of decompress into our mats, and we're going to take a little happy baby. So you're going to separate the knees towards the sides of your body. Bring the arms on the inside of the legs and see if you can take hold of the outside edges of the feet here, or you might prefer to take hold of your big toes with your two peace fingers, whichever you prefer. And you can also take hold of the shins or your clothing if that's a little bit too intense for you. And just keeping the knees bent, drawing the knees down to the side of your body and shining the soles of the feet up towards the sky, keeping that little bit of a sway from side to side. Let's take a couple of breaths here. Think about sending your breath all the way down towards your hips. Beautiful. Two more. One more breath. Lovely. Okay. From here, again, gently release those ankles, draw the knees back together. And now we can make our way into our relaxation. So first of all, you might like to bring the soles of the feet down towards the mat, separating the feet perhaps mat distance apart, but allow the knees to knock together. That's almost kind of like a counter pose after our happy baby. And it might release some of the pressure here from your lower spine. Or you might prefer to send the legs out long, keeping the legs slightly apart, allow the toes to fall out towards the side, heels in. You can choose to have your arms resting down by your sides, or you might have your palms just gently resting on your belly. And again, wherever you decide to place yourselves for your relaxation, make that a real positive decision that you've made for yourself, similar to the positive decision you made in order to bring yourselves to your practice. And maybe as you arrive here, as you soften, take a moment to thank yourselves for these positive decisions. This decision to practice, this decision to slow down, and this decision to rest. Always thank yourselves for taking care of yourselves today. And for now, again, we just rest, we just be, indulging in these final few moments, indulging in this time we've been gifted. And just continue to sink into your mats. And as you sink further here, sink into that deeper connection to yourselves. Gently observing the breath, observing all that it brings you, and change in emotions, how you feel, these internal sensations. Always noticing, always aware but at peace. And let's again take some lovely deep conscious breaths, breathing deeply in through the nose, releasing with a sigh out through the mouth. And again, deep breath in, deep breath out. One more time, breathing in and breathing out. Let's bring a little bit more movement back into the body now. Slowly waking ourselves back up, wiggling our fingertips, wiggling in the toes, bringing some movement into the wrists and into the ankles. Any movement that's particularly calling to you right now, if you're happy to stay where you are, absolutely feel free to do so. You can pause the video or ignore me for the next few moments. You might be swaying the head from side to side. You might bring the knees in towards the chest. Or you might really be yearning for that nice full body stretch. So maybe stretching the arms up and above behind the head. Stretching out through the fingertips, stretch out through the toes, out in front, and allow the body to grow, to expand. And as you exhale, float the arms all the way down. And again, taking your time, no need to rush. But choosing a side, be it the left or the right, and we roll all the way over into a fetal position onto that side. You might pause for a moment, making a little pillow with the hands for the head to rest on. And then when you're ready, using your arms to help push you all the way up, keeping the eyes closed if you can, and just coming to a comfortable seated position. Exactly where we started today, sitting up nice and tall. Palms of the hands resting on the knees, shoulders down and away from those ears. And as always, closing our practice today with the final blessing. May the sun bring you new energy by day. May the moon softly restore you at night. May the rain wash away your worries. And may the breeze blow new strength throughout your being. May you walk through the world knowing its beauty all the days of your life. And with that, we bring the palms of the hands together in front of the heart. And we bow. Namaste. Namaste, everyone. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope you enjoyed that little bit of time just for you to be, and I hope you're feeling good and feeling ready for whatever your day or your week has to bring. So have a lovely rest of your day, and of course, I'll be back next Sunday with another class for you. I'll see you then. Mwah.